Good morning, everyone. Russell Wright, Network Empire, Matt Cruz. So good to see everybody. Tech Foundation Training 1, SEO Website Silo Architecture, the preliminary setup of the automatic SEO casting, or one feed setup, content persuasion, what we call website persuasion architecture. How do you create a compelling story throughout the site that also matches your LSI keywords and your website ranking agenda? This kind of training is not available anywhere else because nobody would be crazy enough to try to teach you guys all at the same time. But that's what makes it fun. And also, it's very executable. Let me make sure that you guys can hear me and that I'm not just talking to myself again, although I am known to do that. If you can hear me, can you please give me a 1? Good morning, Marvin Webster. Good morning, Larry. Rod, Neil, Shane. We're doing a roll call. All kinds of people coming in. All right, so today we are going to cover importing silo themes into WordPress. Matt is going to take the helm, and we're going to talk about the part that starts to get really, really fun, and that is the automated process of incorporating all this complex and highly profitable keyword research and theme research throughout the site and put it rapidly into a theme into WordPress. And if you have any questions, the same as it normally is, just go ahead and ask me a question in the chat and I will try to slow Matt down a little bit. If you have any questions at all and something's not jiving for you, all you've got to do is let us know and we will slow down and go over it again. And with no further ado, let's just rock on. Go ahead, Matt.
Great. Morning, guys. How's it for everybody? Can you give me a 1 if you can hear me? Just want to do a roll call on my side. Okay, cool. So you guys have got it. Okay, excellent. Just logging into a few things here. Okay, so I'm able to just want to drag a screen in here quickly just to give us the whole story. Okay, there we go. Got all our toys ready. Cool. Okay, guys. What I'm doing today is I'm going to take you guys through DWS. We're going to look at DWS and I'll take you through it in detail. I'm going to show the light version and the pro version. And at the same time, I want to look at local versus national keywords. So I'm just quickly running 2 drills in Kraken. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically take these keywords and I'm going to import them into DWS and I'll map out and build a site for you guys, just a small little themed site for you using the import function of DWS as we move along. Okay, so Shane's asked a question, are you going to touch on domains today? Yes, we are, Shane. We're going to look at that as well. I've got TLKT running, doing a drill for us as we're speaking. It's busy drilling local one, so I'm going to compare Hair Salon Phoenix to Kraken Hair Salon. So we can look at national and then we can look at local, and then at the same time when we jump into TLKT we can take that data set that we got there and we can play around with Jimmy's domain keyword filter and we can use LSI to help us find better keywords. So there's 2 filters you can use. You can use one that basically doesn't use the exact keyword in the domain, and then we can use Jimmy's one, so it helps us with our SEO efforts. Okay, cool. So guys, can you give me a 1 for using DWS if you've ever used it, or 2 if you have not, and then maybe a 3 if you're not sure how to use it. You've sort of played around with it. I just want to see what's the skill level. So not many of you guys have actually used it. Okay, cool. So I guess I'll start from scratch with DWS and give you guys a good demo of how we go about using this. Right, so if we look back, I just want to roll back 1 layer here, just to recap on where we've been and what we've done. So in week 1, we defined our product. We looked at what are we selling, what's the product, what's it made up of, what words sort of define it, what does it cost, what our competitors do, and who's our market personality. We looked at those ideas. Then in week 2, we start looking at, okay, what is our industry solution? How does our product solve the pains of the market personalities we're trying to sell to. And at the same time, we started finding, okay, what are the questions that are these people asking, and what is the pain behind the pain that drives those questions? So we try to get into the mindset of what are the people looking for and what are the problems they're trying to solve. Okay, then week 3, I've been drilling away in Kraken for you guys. So your data sets will be coming back shortly. They're almost done. I've got like 3 more to do. Then we finished them all. But this is where we went to Kraken, and in week 3 we went through Kraken and explained how Kraken works and how it actually analyzes the market. So now today we're going to start actually taking the data and playing with it and start working on the site. So in week 4 last week we looked at, okay, the framework. How does the WR framework work? What's it built up of? And in that whole section we took you through the process of, in the course area we've taken you through the process of how to set up your WordPress blog, how to set up the plugins, the default basic plugins to get the framework to work effectively. Okay, so before we carry on, how far are you guys? Guys, can you give me a 1 if you got everything set up, if you got your website set up or not, or if you're still at week 3, keyword research, or if you're still at week 2, finding the pains. Which week would you say you're at the moment? Just so I can gauge where you're at. So 1 for week 1. Okay, so Shane's at week 3. Shane, can you tell me, have you given me your keywords? So most of the guys are at week 3. Week 5, Marvin's on week 5. Marvin's flying ahead. Okay, so he's ready to rock. Okay, cool. So this week is where we're going to start actually taking our keywords and we're going to play with them. So I'm going to show you how I use the Network Empire tools and how I use Kraken and TLKT to basically rapidly prototype and build out sites and see how the money flows through them. Okay. Okay, Mark's giving me his keywords today. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we're at. Right. So what I've done here, guys, I've gone to Kraken. I've drilled into hair salon. Like, remember in week 3, can you recall how we went and used Kraken to create market analysis? In hair salon, I can see that haircuts is important, beauty salons are important, nail salons are important. These are things that people are looking for. Hairstylists, they want hairstylists, then people are selling hair equipment and hairdressers. So I find it interesting that hairstylists and hairdressers use the same language as they do in the UK and in South Africa. So that's quite interesting how they overlap different continents. Okay, so we've got our data set over here. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to click on Show All Keywords. And what I'm going to do is I'll actually save the CSV file. Okay. So I'm going to role play today. I'm going to pretend there's a hair salon that's coming along and I want us to give them a quote on what we can do for them. So I'm going to save this file. So I'm going to save link as. Let's just throw this on my desktop quick. New folder. Kraken. There's my hair salon CSV. And I'm going to come here to TLKT. I've gone into TLKT. I've run a drill that's busy running away in the queue. So let's see if we've got any keywords. Okay, nice one. We've got a whole bunch of keywords. We've got 128 keywords for Phoenix. So we can see what's happening with the locale and what people are looking for. Okay, so it's going to, I don't want all that stuff. I'll come back to that. Right, so when you sign up for the course, guys, you get access to Mini-Me. This is the light version of any silo builder, and this is extrapolated from DWS Pro, okay? And this is just a version we've created for you guys so that you can come in and quickly build out sites if you don't have all the pro features. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly create a project for this, and I'm going to walk you through the process. And then what you'll see is what we do in the light automatically mirrors in the Pro version. So if you upgrade to the TLKT DWS Pro version, then you get access to all the Pro versions here. So I'll start off with Lite, and then I will jump across to the Pro and show you what other features we have there. Okay, so I'm going to click on the Create, Update, Delete thing there. I'm going to call this one Hair Salon, just say Phoenix, as the name of the project. Client quote. So let's pretend this client wants us to have a look at their market and see what we'll quote them to do work for them. So I create a new empire. And what's going to happen is it's going to take me across to the project screen. And in this project screen, this is where we essentially create a project and we can build that map out of site. Okay, so I'm going to click on Add New Site. Stick that in there. They don't have a domain yet. Let's just make one up. Let's go to Google and quickly just grab Salon Phoenix. Yelp. Let's just go to the root salon. Let's pretend these guys are our client and I want to find out what's going on in their world. So the first thing I'm going to do is once I've drilled in hair salon, I'm going to come across to my ranked domains in Kraken. I'm going to rank a new domain. I want to stick that in there. Click create, let that run. I'm going to come back to my empire. I'm going to stick that in there. And this is say we're going for hair salon Phoenix. Is our primary keyword that we're after. Well, we believe it's the most important keyword. Okay, so I'm going to copy that, stick that in there as my primary keyword. Google, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, so the search engine targeted, this gives us all the search engines we want to target. If we're outside of the US and we want to have things scale, we essentially click on the currency conversion here, and all we've got to do here is copy and paste what $1 US is to the currency. So for the moment we're in the US, just keep it a 1-to-1 ratio, it's fine. There's the market size. So what we're doing here is we're setting the categories, how we want our data segmented. So when you look at the silo structures, we've got silos, we've got categories, and we've got supporting articles. Okay. Now, what I do with this setting here, the silo setting, is I like to take the whole data set and I like to chop it up into 3 layers. So I want to see where my silos are and what keywords qualify as silos. What are my category keywords and what are my supporting article keywords? So looking at Kraken, well, it's busy with that now. I'll jump to the last keyword tool. And the first thing I want to do here is on apply filter. And what will we start with? Let's look at what's highly relevant. And what's being searched. Now I've used the highly relevant filter in the TLKT for the locale keyword, and Phoenix has come back, salons come back, nail salon, hair extensions, blonde hair, hair salon, haircuts, downtown Phoenix. What I'm actually doing when I'm looking at highly relevant guys is I'm trying to see what is the language that our market personalities potentially will use, okay? And TLKT is a great tool to actually give us those expressions, and Kraken gives us the market expressions. Can you guys give me one if that's clear to you? Or if it's not clear. I just want you guys to follow my train of thought as I go through a process of putting together a site rapidly in DWS. Okay, so I always start off with, okay, how does the market personality communicate? What's the language they use? And then I'm looking at how much searches there are. So now I can see, because I've sorted by searches, I can start seeing daily where the interest lies. Now haircut stands out to me, hair salon stands out to me, blonde hair, quite interesting. In Phoenix, the girls want blonde hair. Hair extensions, and then it's nail salon, and then salon at the top of the vertical. Phoenix doesn't matter. Lower down, doesn't really matter. So this upper piece here is where the traffic basically is. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. Sorry, I was looking at competing pages, phrase match. Salon 361, phrase, hair salon 49. Okay. The reason why I looked at the competing pages phrase match was for my settings. I wanted to say basically everything over 10 million qualifies as a silo, anything below 10 million and greater than 350,000 qualifies as a category, anything less than 350,000 is a supporting article. Now, to make things simple, okay, the silo and the categories will always be the same, okay? The supporting article band can be anything. So we can even make this 500,000. There's no set rule. All we're doing is we're segmenting a data set, guys. So don't overthink it. We're just taking up a data set and we're chopping it in three. So if we look at this here, if hair salon in America is 40,000, sorry, what is it, 40 million? Let me just copy that in here. 49 million. Okay. Anything less than 49 million qualifies as a category. So I can even make my supporting articles 10 million if I wanted to. Okay. Do you guys understand what I'm doing here? I'm just segmenting the band. I'm creating ranges. Anything that fits in the X range becomes a silo. Anything between 10 million and 49 million becomes a category. Anything smaller than 10 million becomes a supporting article. What that does in DWS is it shows us the ranges. We can actually filter and sort those keywords, which helps us map out the site. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave the defaults as they are, okay, and I'm just going to leave it like that. Next is our site promotional cost settings. When we create backlinks, we need to write an article, and then we need to stick the backlink in it. Guys, can you give me a 1 if you agree with that, or 2 if you don't? It's not a trick question. Okay, and to write that article, there's a cost involved. That's what we put in there. So in this example, I'm saying for me to get an outsourcer to write an article, it's going to cost me $25. Okay, and Neil says depend on the link type. Exactly. No, you're right, Neil. The point I'm making here is for backlinks, to create backlinks, depending on most of the traditional ways, some form of content must be created to actually create the link. So time has been spent, therefore there's a cost involved. So we're going to stick in $25 here on this, and then content cost per article is the content that's on our site. Okay, so I'm going to make that one $15, and I'm going to make this one $25, okay? Just as an example, our site content is premium content, it's good content, it must be designed to work. Most of the time, this cost is a lot higher, okay? So you can even make it $50 or $40, whatever your cost is. Let's just make it $100, just so I can show you how we can play with the modeling that goes on in DWS. Okay, so once we've got the costs down of what one article costs us for backlinks, what one article costs us for on-page site content, we can then look at our site conversions, okay? And this is where we start thinking about the sales funnel. What happens in the sales process? We need to be aware of how the sales funnel works up front before we start building the site, because we have to optimize and refine and fine-tune that funnel continuously. Every 1% increase in conversion has a major impact on the actual bottom line, on the money that the company actually makes. Can you guys give me a 1 if you're clear on that, on the site conversion part? Larry's asking you, where are the costs coming from for backlinks? Larry, when you write an article and you've got to sit for 2 hours to write a one-page article, that's 2 hours of your time. What has that time cost you? Okay, that's where the cost is coming from. Or if you get someone to write your article, what is the cost involved? Or if you're buying articles from writers, what is that costing you per article? That's the amount that you just stick in there. Can you give me a 1 if you're clear on that, Larry? Okay, cool. Right. So if you look at what people say, usually when you're ranked in position number 1, statistically the people say you get anywhere between 17 and 40%. Okay. I like to keep things pretty conservative when I'm saying Google traffic for position number 1. If it's a competitive market, I drop the value down to 17. If it's an intermediate local market, I push it up to about 25% of the traffic. Okay, because we can get citation sites ranked as well, and there's a few more other things we can do in positions 2 and 3 that help boost the actual rankings here for conversions number 1. So I keep that at 25%. Now, when you think about your sales funnel, people are going to land on Google, okay? They're going to look at something, and they're going to click. They'll probably click about here, and they'll go to this Yelp listing over here. From the Yelp listing, they may hop across to the actual site, or they might phone in, or they might email directly. So there's 3 points of contact that the person can actually contact you by. Okay, that's right at the top of our sales funnel. So we're saying that 25% of the people that search Hair Salon Phoenix are going to click on a listing of your number one, and then they're going to hop across to our site. Okay, so that's why I stick 25% there. When they land on my site, how many of those people are going to actually convert and either fill in the email form or pick up the phone or phone us or buy something right there? Okay, now if we are generating leads, there's a third hop, which is this part over here. But if we are selling digital products, where let's just say they're going to one of our silo plugin landing pages as an example, the person will land on that page, you'll see what it costs, you'll buy, and you get taken to the members area where you can get the digital product. If it's a digital product, there's only one hop in the funnel. You can just leave this as 100%. Okay, there's no lead generation, there's no follow-up calls happening afterwards. Can you guys give me a 1 if you're clear on that? Okay, so let's just say most of the people that type in Phoenix Hair Salon land on the website's landing page, and 80% of the people, or let's just take it down to 70% of the people, actually phone the hair salon, email the hair salon, or pick up the address and come in. Okay. Once they phone the hair salon or contact the hair salon, they get the prices and they're familiar with what they want to do and they're prepared to do a booking, let's just say another 70% of those people come along and they say, yes, we're actually going to go and get booked in. Okay, so let's have a look at what's happened over here. We've looked at Google and we said 25% of the people on the search traffic are going to come to our site. Of those 25% that land on our site, 70% of them are going to actually try and contact us to get a booking done. And out of those 70 people, a further 70% people will actually pitch up at the hair salon and transact. Can you guys see the 3 hops that we've gone through there? Can you give me a 1 if that's clear? So it's 2 scenarios here. 1, if we're selling directly off our website, i.e. Google to the landing page, buy now, transact right there and then. And the other option is landing site, phone number, email, opt-in form, come to the salon, transact. Can you see how we actually factor in those numbers? So we can break down this traffic and see, okay, how does this traffic actually create revenue for our business? Okay, so if you're doing opt-in lists and you're building lead lists, you can fill in this over here. I'm just going to stick in 5% there for our opt-in list. 5% of the 70% that come to the site will actually opt into our promotion. And the list conversion rate, this is where once we built a list, on average that list converts at X when we send out promotions and offers. Let's just say that 15% of the people respond. I'm just going to put a low number here. Okay. Now, remember, when we work in the site conversion rules, we're playing with a modeling. This is what we're doing. We're actually creating models. And we're playing with different numbers, and we're looking at these numbers to see, okay, what is the numbers that are going to make the money that we're trying to achieve? And this is what takes us into the calculator, the next step. Okay. So to make the math easy, I'm going to say on average, for any haircut that we do, we make $100 profit. Okay, and I stick this profit number in over here. It's very important, that number. Now, what's the budget? Okay, if your client's constrained and they've got a budget, let's just say they've got only $5,000 they can spend with you a month. Okay, what can you work with them? Now, if you look at it from a yearly perspective, if they're going for a yearly contract, $5,000 times a year, okay, what does that come to? $70,000. Okay, so what's the total budget? So I was going to put in $50,000. And say that's their budget for the whole year for their marketing online. What's their financial goal? What they want to achieve? Okay, let's just say they want to achieve $10,000 a month from the website. What that means is for every 100 sales, for every 100 people come to the site, we require 1 to convert. Okay, and the traffic that we need to meet our financial goal, something's not right here. 2570. Okay, is 143. Okay, so we basically need 143 people to convert to meet our business rules when we have to fund them back and get them booked in. If we're doing direct sales, i.e. selling digital products, we need to sell 100 products, get 100 sales at $100 to meet our $10,000 goal every year. Guys, can you give me one if you're clear on that, how the calculator actually works it out for you? Or two, if you're not clear on what has gone on over there. So just to summarize, what we've done here when we're creating a project is we've put in our primary keyword, okay? Now, what I suggest doing over here would be the primary keyword we're targeting. I'll show you how it actually happens now. So I'm going to click Create Site. And while that's getting made, I'm just going to come and export this quickly. So I'm going to save the link as Hair Salon Phoenix, save. So I've got my two data sets. And I'm going to come back to DWS. Now we've come from, once we create a project, you'll see in the light version, we've got import my keywords, design my site, mark for publishing, build my WordPress site, export my blueprints, and you can look at your progress. You can map your progress as you're moving on. But essentially, this top navigation here takes you through the build process in the light version, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build our site. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on Kraken Voma. I'm going to browse to my desktop. Go to my Kraken file. And I'm going to grab the Kraken file. Click Open. And I'm going to click Import. That's going to bring those keywords in from Kraken, and then it will calculate everything. I'm going to go back again. And I import my TLKT keywords, and I'm going to bring them in as well because they're both the same. I'm going to import that. Now, this is the index page of our site, okay? Well, I'm on the keyword decision screen, and I'll explain what the screen does shortly. But here we're at the top level of our site, okay? This is the index page. And at the moment, we've got it set to Hair Salon Phoenix. This is the keyword we want to get ranked for, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to build out a web page underneath the site over here. Now, if we jump to the last keyword tool, this is where we can start looking at what are good domain names to have. So I'm going to go to Filters. I'm going to flip it across to Jimmy's domain name finder, and I'm going to click Apply. Interesting. It came back with Scottsdale Massage. Okay, that's a bit of a random one for hair salons. So what I'll do is I'll go to filter, and I'm going to turn the Larry down a little bit just to give us a bit of a better feeling. So when you look at Jimmy's filter, guys, can you see my screen? Can you give me a 1 if it's clear, or 2 if I'm going to zoom in so you can actually see what I'm doing? Okay. In the first part, on the third line, where we see negative min LSI score times 1.3, and we've got this greater than 50, I'm just going to drop that number down to 40, and I'm going to click Apply. That's interesting how the massage stuff's coming back with this drill. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to drop that down to make that 60. That's not helping as well. Okay, so I'm going to clear that filter and I'm going to try another one. Let's look at the supporting keywords. Massage. Okay, the filter I've used here is one which is basically, it gives me the pure diverse ones. It's matched interesting thematically related keywords, okay? Now these are pure diverse keywords and partially diverse. And what I'm essentially looking at here is what can we use as domain names when we're looking for our domains. If you want to go for exact match domains, you can. I typically like to use domains that don't contain the keyword I'm targeting in it. Okay, so if we're going for hair salon Phoenix, I might try and think of different ways we can actually express it. Okay, so what I typically do with this is I run through the different filters and I check what can I use that's got a lot of searches related to the industry I'm in and hasn't got hair salon or hair, because those are things I might create silos out of. You know what I'm saying? Okay? You guys give me a 1 if you understand what I'm saying, or 2 if it's not clear. Because we're looking at the data now, we're trying to see what can we use as an actual keyword for a domain. Okay, right. Best hair salon, position number 74. Okay, I'll come back to that. Let's just go, open a new tab. Let's just quickly look at our themes, and we're coming to a hair salon over here. I'm in Kraken. Okay, so what's important here, what people are looking for, nails. The girls in Phoenix, well, in America, like their nails done. They like haircuts, laser removal. That's interesting, yeah. Hair coloring, haircuts, hairstyles, hair salon, haircuts, hair removal, hairstyle. We could use hairstyle in the domain name. We could use haircuts in the domain name. These are keywords that have got a lot of search volume, okay, and sitting right at the top. And what I like to think about when I'm getting a domain is what keyword holds the most search volume, because at the top level, that's got the most power. So if we look at a domain name, okay, so we've got www.domain.com/silo/category/supporting articles. When we look at how strong a domain is, okay, and we had to put a power band onto it, where's the power lie in the actual domain? When we look at the subdomain, we get a power of 2. When we look at the domain, we get a power of 1. When we look at the silo, we get a power of 3. When we look at the categories, we get a power of 4. When we look at the supporting articles, we get a power of 5. Okay. Now, the top level domain holds all the domain authority. It holds all the power. Okay, that's why it gets the highest power. Okay. The subdomain, the www, or the blog, or Phoenix, if you're doing multiple locations for the company, that holds the second most power. Then the silos hold more power, then the categories, then the supporting articles. So when we think of the URL structure and when we think about buying domains, we've got to think about the power the component in the URL string holds, and we need to think to ourselves and answer the question, what type of domain must we create that holds the most power, that's going to start pulling the most type of search traffic to our website, that's congruent, relevant, and important to the industry we're trying to build a site for. Can you guys give me a 1 if you understand what I just said? Or 2 if it's not clear when we're thinking about domains and how to build out a URL. Because if you think about silo architecture, everything we're doing in silo architecture is we're theming each silo. Each silo is designed to power up the parent above it, which then actually works its way backwards. So let's just say we had a category on our site that we wanted to boost. We had 2 options. We can either do the domain authority stack and boost it from the bottom up externally, or we can create supporting articles internally that boost that specific category. Okay, that's why we use supporting articles. I typically only use them to boost a specific category, or if I'm doing an e-commerce type of site, then the supporting articles will be the long tails. It will be the actual product name, the thing, which has got very low competing pages, but it allows us to do that. Here's a question from Mark Clay. So in WordPress, the silo would be a category, and the categories would be under that for structure. Yeah, Mark, what we do in WordPress is with the deep silo plugin that we created, if we look at the power, how it moves, the domain.com now. We're going to settings, and when we're going to reading, once we've mapped out our silo structure, we'll actually say what's going to be our home page. Sorry guys, net's running a bit slow here with the connection. Okay, so if we want to set a static page for our home page, we'll click on front page. I'm under settings, reading, front page display. A static page for our home page would be whatever we want it to be, okay? We can select home, we can select any of our silo landing pages, we can dictate what static page comes in, okay? And that domain is equal to a page in WordPress. So it's going to write your WordPress, okay? When we come to the silo, that's equal to a page as well. When we come to category in WordPress, that's equal to a page as well. And when we come to a supporting article, this becomes a post. Okay. So that's essentially what happens in WordPress. When we import our XML we're going to create into WordPress, it's going to basically create pages for the domain, pages for the silo, pages for the category page. The reason why we create a page for the category page is we don't want to use WordPress's default page, okay, with all category posts listed on it, because everything this gets bled out. There's just too many links. So we force the structure to be a page. Does that answer your question, Mark? Is that clear to you? Just give me one there so we can move on. Okay, sweet. Then the supporting articles, every supporting article we create falls underneath the actual proper category of WordPress, and we have all these posts coming in. So we can essentially add as many supporting articles as we want to our WR1 site as we're moving along. Okay, so let's just jump back in here. Where was that? Right, so domains, that's what I basically do. There's a few things I look for with the domains. I look for where's the traffic, okay, because I want to use a domain name that's not going to impact the silos I want to be targeting later on in the site of my site design, okay. And I do that through looking at TLKT, and I use Jimmy's keyword filter. I use the partial or partial diverse type of terms, because the reason for that is we don't want to have hair salon / hair salon / hair salon / hair salon in each of the URL structure. So when we start to build a site, we need to start thinking about the whole string. Where's it going to end up, and are we going to over optimize the URL structure if we start using it? How's the domain name going to impact what it is that we want to build out? So I typically come into DWS when I build my sites. I start off with my primary keyword, I stick it at the top, and then I build up the site structure, and then I look, okay, where am I going to get penalized? Where's the URL weak? Does that sort of answer your question, Shane? I know you were wanting to find out about domains. That's the process I go through. I map out my site structure first, and then I look at the domain name, and I think, okay, what's going to be the best match, and what's going to give me the most power? Okay, so if I'm building a site that's going to get power, I may as well power up a domain name that contains a phrase that has potentially high search volumes in it already. So we can say Salon B Phoenix, or we can just say Salon, or we can have phoenix.salonx.com. So we can start playing with the powering up over here on the domain level when we're thinking about the domain we want to put our site on. Does that answer your question, Shane? I just want to make sure that you're clear. I know that was a burning question for you over the last few days, and I wanted to just show it and deal with it at once with everybody. Okay. Can you give me one if you call, Shane, if we can move on from there? I just want to make sure that that's sorted for you. Sweet. Okay. Right, let's get into it. Let's build a site quick. Okay. So what I've done is I've drilled out in Kraken, hair salon. This is the top of the vertical. I've ranked our competitor or the person we're doing the job for. You'll find them down here, therootsalon.com. Okay. And compared to everybody else, they're not doing too good. I think they're ranked in position number 74. So already I know when I speak to this client, on a national level, they're not shining at all on any of the national terms. However, if I click on yearly organic rank value, Kraken shows me that laser hair removal is where the money flows. So there must be a lot of hairy guys or hairy women. They all want hair taken off their bodies. Is this something that this salon offers them? Is this going to be an important keyword? Okay. Next thing I'm going to look at is nail salon. Do they do nails? Yes or no? Do they do haircuts? Yes. So haircuts is a keyword that is important. So notice that I've started at hair salon, the top of the vertical. I've come in here and I've got haircuts as a potential silo. Haircuts has more value than haircut by almost $1 million. Hair salon's an important term, so I'm just going to add this to my list. I'm going to look for a minimum of 3 silos. The chicks want hair coloring. Okay, hairstyles is important. That's going to be a visual website. Hair removals come in again. Salon equipment, haircuts, hairstylists. Hairstyle, beauty, hair extensions, hair coloring. Okay, that's enough. All right, so most important keyword in hair salon is haircuts, then it's hair salon, then it's hair color, then it's hairstyles, then it's hairstylists. Would you give me a 1 if that covers that industry, or 2 if it doesn't? Is there anything else? If you're thinking about silos for your website. Or give me 2 if you think that that's not a good selection to start with. Okay, guys. So our client, we know already that on a national level, they're not featuring for any of these. So let me just grab that domain name again. Let's just quickly go in here to Hair Salon Phoenix. Did you guys see how long it took me to get those keywords? Was it hard? Yes or no? Give me a 1 if it was hard, or 2 if it wasn't. Can you see how I'm not overthinking things at this point in time? So it's going to add another theme here. Mark says it was very hard. Hair Salon Phoenix. Okay, guys, you asked for practical in Tech 2, so I'm going to give you guys practical. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to build sites fast, how to understand the market, how to speak to your clients, how to... Okay, so I'm going to just leave all those. Actually, I'm just going to leave them in there for now, but I'm going to add them to my list. And all I'm doing is going synonyms. There's that list there. Okay, so while that's drilling away, let's have a look at what we got here, guys. So we've got haircuts. Under hair salon, we've got these options here. Hair salons. Okay. So if we look at our domain and we're thinking about over-optimization, this is where things start getting tricky. So Under hair salons, we've got hair salon, salon Phoenix, Phoenix hair, Phoenix hair salons, Phoenix, Phoenix hair salons. Okay, these are the words that are coming back as synonyms. Can you see the repetition? Can you see how things are coming back where we've got duplications all the time? And if we had the domain that had something as hair salons as well, we start walking on thin ice. Okay. Now, with the Sassy website, I did it as Sassy Hair Salon. I branded the hair salon. I used the brand name and what it was. Okay. And then I started focusing on wedding hair, haircuts, and makeup. I didn't focus much on the hair salon part of it. Okay. So while this is drilling out, I'm going to go and start building the site out for you guys in DWS and show you how simple and easy it is to actually create a site. Okay, I'll just hop back to Kraken and carry on with it. So this is the index page. Now, we're on the keyword decision screen. This is where we import our keywords, we bring more in. Here's where our business rules and filters are. And when we manage the blueprint, this is where we can update, add notes, move things in and out of the blueprint, delete things. This is where we do our maintenance. So I'm going to hop to business and rules quickly, just to show you that. Okay, so when we look at this here, the first thing I want to do is I usually just have it set to 3 by default. And this is giving me a range of domain authority between 30 and 40, okay? And what that does is it adjusts our blueprint costs for us so we can see how many articles we need to create. Okay, I'm going to get that now. There's our golden niche identifier. This year I've got there, show me a golden star next to every keyword that could make me more than $1,000 per month that is less than 100,000 pages phrase match. Okay, so I can identify golden niches in my grid. Silo structure is the same. I can come here and tweak things if I'm not happy with how the data has been segmented. So if I have let's just say I find my silos are sitting in a higher range or a lower range, I can adjust that and tweak it out. Okay. Then conversions, this is where we can tweak our conversions to make the model work and find what is the perfect mix to get the profit margins that we're looking for. And then that we just update it and it changes everything on the grid dynamically for us. Now, when we're on the keyword decision screen, this screen is extremely powerful because what it does is for every single row it adds, it does 17 checks, okay, 17 quality checks on that actual keyword per keyword, and it applies our business rules to it as we're walking through the process. Okay, and the way to see this is, I'm just going to click here quickly. So we've got the salon. This is the top of the vertical. Okay, remember the market vertical I speak about in week 2 and week 3. I keep on referring back to it. Can you guys give me a 1 if you're clear on that, if you remember the vertical market is? We went across in detail in week 3. If you're not sure, just check it again, right? So salon is right at the top of the vertical. Underneath the salon, we're going to come back and we're going to see things. Now, what DWS gives us the ability to do is it gives us the ability to use placeholders to tell a better story. Now, remember, we're storytellers, okay? Even though we're the architects of the site. At the moment, we're the architects. We're designing the site. We have to think about URLs. We have to think about what keywords are attainable. What keywords are words that are going to be used for information. What keywords are keywords that potentially can create sales. We have all these things running through our heads at all points in time. But we also have to think, okay, where's the site going to be within 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and a year? So as the architect, with my architect hat on, I know I can use salon if I wanted to because it's classed as a silo and I can move it into my blueprint as a placeholder. It's not a keyword I want to rank for, but it's something that I might use to segment a data set or a segment of the site to tell a specific type of story. Can you give me one if that's clear? When I mention placeholder, all I'm doing is I'm creating a page that's facilitating the user. Okay, it's for the user benefit. It's not for the ranking benefit. If we get ranked for that keyword and we hit 291 search volume, we've got conversions of 35,000 conversions on a national level per month. That's great, but it's not what we're after. Okay, so when you see these big keywords, you got to see them for where they are and in what context they are. Now in DWS, The first icon represents the decision screen, and this is where we look at the keyword quality score. If we open that up on any of the keywords, we will see the traffic to profit sales funnel, okay? Or funnel, it's not a sales funnel, it's the traffic to profit funnel. What's the transition that a keyword goes through to essentially create a conversion? So when this loads up, okay, we're going to see the 17 checks that keyword goes through, and if you read through line for line, you can actually check the makeup of that keyword, what it's going to cost you, how many potential articles you need to write. Now, when we're on the screen, remember, we're looking at themes, okay? Everything we deal with in Network Empire and in ThemeZoom is themes. We're looking at market domination, we're looking at themes. Whether your market's a local niche, whether it's international, national, or local, it doesn't matter. We want to dominate whatever we're going for. Give me a 1 if you agree with me, or 2 if you just want to get ranked for one keyword. Ah, interesting. Got a bunch of market dominators here. Cool. Right. So when we look at this keyword, we understand that salon is a theme, and in order to get ranked for salon, we need to build X amount of keywords, either on site to get it ranked using the silo architecture. And in the case study of Sassy, I showed you guys how silo architecture works and how we did that. How we did with no investment from backlinks or creating additional content, just using silo architecture, we got up to 46% market coverage. Okay, I'll get back into that a bit later in the stuff when we get into analytics. But look at the screen here. We've got the traffic click-through conversion, which is this section here, and it shows us the traffic. As they leave the search engines, from the 29,000, 72,000 potential people will hit our site on a monthly basis. On-page conversion. If they land on my landing page, 2,900 will potentially do something on our site. Okay. If we're doing list building, 730 people may potentially fill in the opt-in list. So can you see how the story is unfolding before us on the salon keyword, and they're giving us numbers. However, if we have to create backlinks and develop content for this, the cost is going to be quite high. It's like 800,000. Okay, so we're failing. It's way out of our budget. Can you see we're failing here on the total development cost? Why is that? Because we charged $100 an article for premium content. And as we go through the income potential, if we own salon and we have the right products, that keyword is worth a hell of a lot of money to us. Okay. So will this keyword be profitable? Yes, it does, but it's got a bad quality score because we're failing and it's out of our budget. Okay. So this helps us look at things in a realistic way, get some internal numbers. So if you're speaking to the client, we can give them some ballpark figures. Now remember, these numbers change based on your business rules. So if we had to change our content cost, we would see the impact of that. Can you guys give me a 1 if you're clear on that? Or 2 if it's not clear for you guys. I'll drop down into a more related keyword shortly and we can look at it. Okay. I just want to quickly select stuff here. So our keyword we're going to go for is hair salon Phoenix. Straight away I can see that Phoenix hair salons, the modifier in the front is more important. Okay. Mike, to find that screen, it's always on the keyword decision screen, okay? And you click on the chart. If you hover over, it'll say keyword quality score. That's what we're looking at, is the keyword quality score. Okay. Right, let me go back to Kraken so we can, sorry guys, I'm just hopping around, but I'm doing this in real time with you because I want to show you how I sort of, what happens in my mind as I'm running through this process. I'm processing a lot of information at once. I hope you don't mind. Can you give me a 1 if you're staying with me, or am I jumping around too much? 2 if I'm jumping around, 1 if it's actually working for you guys. I just want to show you the real world application of how I do this stuff really quickly and what am I thinking about as I'm doing this. Okay, cool. Right, so I'm drilling into hair salon Phoenix in Kraken. We've looked at the national level. We've looked at the domain. We've understood the power of the domain. We understand how WordPress is going to build out our pages, what's going to be posts, which have a short lifetime. Guys, just so you know, for those who don't know, a post roughly stays in the 40 days. is its lifespan, okay? Pages are indefinite. The reason for this is a page is ranked differently to a post. Posts are classed as news, and news gets stale. Okay, so when we came in here, we saw our domain, we understood the power, we then looked at a national level, hair salon, we extracted haircuts, hair salon, hair salons. We then did a drill on Phoenix, which is a locale. They gave us some synonyms. We used those synonyms to essentially see what's interesting here. Now, when we look at the cost per click, Phoenix hair salon with the S has more money spent on it. And it's got 1 click a day, but there's only 2,000 competing pages. It's easier to rank for that term, whereas Phoenix hair salon, the singular, has more competing pages. Salon Phoenix, 40,000, less search. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one there. It's got a high cost per click, and I'm going to stick it under hair salons with the S. Actually, I'll take those 3. You can select up to 3 theme-defining synonyms. So I'm going to take the 2 verticals, hair salon and hair salons, and then Phoenix hair salon, which has got the highest cost per click for me, and it's got more paid traffic to it. That's why I've chosen that one over there. Guys, can you give me one if you're clear on that, of how I've selected the synonyms? Okay, so what's going to happen in Kraken now, when we do this, those keywords will become, keywords will be used to grab more keywords back for us. Okay, so there we can see the lay of the land. Phoenix hair, salon Phoenix are bigger words than hair salon Phoenix. Okay, you see those 2 there. So those can be potential silos if we're going to use it. We've got hair salon, hair salon. Yeah, we can see the lay of the land. I'm going to let that drill. Once it's drilled, I'm going to come back. I'm going to take our case study, that random website I grabbed. I'm going to throw it in there, and we're going to look at what are they ranked for. So we can judge the missed opportunities, and we can see, okay, how can we best make money from this client, but also how can we best service this client? How do we make them rank for things that are actually relevant to their business, to what they're doing? Okay, so while that's going on there, I'm going to come back to DWS, and the way the screen works, it's actually very simple once you get to know how to use it. You can build sites quickly. But if I want to see all the silos, I can select the silo type. If I want to see a specific type of word, okay, let's just say salon. This is a wildcard filter. It'll bring back all the keywords that hold salon in it. So if I press submit now and I filter by that, this filter is sticky, and what that means is whatever you set in there, it'll keep it set, regardless of whether you go away 2 days and come back a few days later. Okay. Now, if you want to get rid of that setting, just click the reset button here under the link, under the submit, and it'll clear it out for you. So filtered by salon, and here we can see all the keywords that have the most value to our business, i.e., the one that's going to make us the most money with direct sales floats to the top. Okay, so we've got salon, too broad, too long to rank for. Why? We're going to have to create 83 internal pages for this site, or we have to create 1,392 external backlinks pointing into the site. Okay. Obviously, as you guys go through certification, we teach you more advanced techniques which will shortcut that process. But typically, this is what we use. So let me explain what I mean by this. The first column is competing pages. Okay, this is always phrase match, and your data should always come from Google because the system is based to get you ranked in Google. SV stands for search volume. This is how much monthly search volume there is on that keyword. Conversions, CNV means conversions. Based on your business rules, how many potential conversions can you make on a monthly basis? TTR, time to rank. This is a monthly number. If you go for salon, you're looking at maybe 64 months before you'll get there. Okay, so we're setting up expectations. If a client wants to get ranked for salon, has he got deep pockets, and can he wait 64 months at the maximum to get ranked for those keywords? Maybe even longer, depending how he sets his site up. Okay, SBL, suggested backlinks. If if we've got normal content we can write internally, then we need to start looking, okay, how many backlinks do we need to get this theme ranked? Okay. SSA, suggested supporting articles. Because we're dealing with themes, when we look at Kraken, a theme has multiple keywords within it. Okay, so if we can get ranked for themes, I just want to copy this link so I can use it just now. We're going to get ranked for multiple keywords within that actual theme. So this is what we're looking at here. How many articles do we need on the site? So for Salon, we need a minimum of 83 internal pages, which has some other mention of Salon in it. Okay. Can you give me a one if that's clear to you? Because this helps you determine how big the site actually needs to be when you're looking at a theme and you want to get ranked for that specific topic. Once you've got the top level of your site known, then all the pages that you build underneath it, whether it's silos or articles or silos or categories or supporting articles, it's the total number of all those pages that help you get ranked for that primary that you want to get ranked for. Does that make sense? So make sure you guys are clear on that. So the more competitive sites become, the bigger they typically become, unless you know little tricks that Jimmy's actually taught the guys. Okay. So because we're building our WR1, this is our money site, it's our transaction engine. We need to think about what keywords will create the sales that we need. Okay. So is Salon a keyword that we actually want to build into our site structure? Give me a one if you believe it or no. Is it a keyword that I would target for a local website? Okay, I'll repeat the question, Larry. When I'm building up the site structure, would I take a keyword like Salon and would I move it into my actual site structure? Would I target that as a keyword I want to get ranked for? One for yes and two for no. Okay. Most of the guys are saying no, and the answer is correct. We're not going to target Salon. It's not something we want to go for. Okay. Would I go for a keyword like beauty salon? You can see the S there next to it. It's a silo. I want to zoom in here a little bit just to make it a bit more easier for you guys to read. Can you guys see that? Is that better for you? Okay, cool. Right, beauty salon. Does this website deal with beauty salons? Let's go have a look and quickly see so we can keep this as real as possible. So we're going to go to the Wright salon. I just want to see what they offer. Go away. I don't want that. That's annoying. The team press awards about contact experience about us. What do you do? Services. Okay. The beauty destination. Here we go. Haircuts, hair color. That's what these guys do. Our styles offer prices, blah, blah, blah. Women's haircut, men's haircut, shampoo, blow dry, deep conditioning, da, 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 da. Now, guys, when you look at this website, they've got their prices up here. They've got home, about us, the experience, their blog, services, the team, press awards, about art, contact us. These links are all the links that the search engines see first. As this page gets passed by the search engines, this is what is going to follow first. Okay. I typically keep these spaces for the silos as a priority. And then I'd have contact us and about us. I use those two. Things like press awards, the team, the experience, those things, I stick them in the footer over here. We can put them down there. They don't have as much importance as the actual stuff we want to get ranked for. Okay, can you guys give me a 1 if it's clear? Or 2 if you're not clear what I said there. Because you've got to remember, when that bot hits your site, they only read like a few hundred characters. They don't read the whole page. And all they're doing is they're grabbing the top links and then they disappear. Then they come back and then they index those pages a few days later or a few hours later. Once they come in, another bot takes those links and passes them, reads them and says, okay, what's this about? Then it runs through the algorithm. That's basically what happens there. Okay, so $35, $25, $75, 10, da 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 da. Hair color correction, $250. So that's a big ticket item. Fixing wrong color. So that's the only paid keyword they really have. The rest is just menial stuff. Okay. Blogs, tips and tricks. They're going after tips and tricks. Okay, let's see what they're doing there. Okay, they got Facebook, Twitter. Don't know what that is. Pinterest, YouTube, Google Plus. Okay, you're doing all the things there. They got an RSS feed as well. Interesting. Okay, so we got basically what they're on about. They just do hair. So they're not a beauty salon. Okay. They are a hair color salon. They do that. That's a low-hanging fruit. Do they hair extensions? Oh, they are a beauty salon. Okay, let's go back. Sorry. Beauty, 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 beauty. Da, 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 da. There we go. It's a big keyword. It's fine. There's a lot of money there. They do nails. They're in Phoenix. Okay. So in this first data set that I brought in, I've got a few keywords I can start using. So what I'm going to do now for now is I'm going to come into my business rules and filters. I'm going to take the domain name. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the Empire. I'm going to show you what I want to do here. Okay, I'm going to come to this here and I'll actually update and edit that there. Going to click on this one here. I want to update that. Hi. And I'll stick in the keyword as the root salon for now, because that's the index site of the page. It's just a little trick I do to make my URL building much easier. Now I'm going to go back to my keyword decision screen. Okay, so there's the root salon. There's the domain there. The first thing I want to do is, we know they're a beauty salon, so I'm going to click on the root salon. You have to click on the index page to bolt on a silo underneath it. Okay, so when I click on that, I'll see it over there, and now I'm going to add my silos. So I'm going to add beauty salon. Actually, I'm just going to give me all the silos first and submit that. That's where my selections are salon. I'm going to get rid of that there as well. So we just got the silos. Okay. 17 million. Nail salon. They did do nails. Hair removal, facial waxing. Hair correction. No, they don't do nails. Okay, so take that off there. Hair extensions, they do laser hair removal, they do haircuts. One, two, three. Haircuts, hair color, hairstyles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hair removal can go underneath. Laser hair removal. Okay, so I check off in the first column of blocks here, I check off my 5 silos, and I click move to blueprint. Okay, so there we go. There's our 5 silos built into our site already. Now I'm going to go into haircuts. Let's jump back here. It's still busy drilling. Haircuts, we've got blonde hair. Wedding hair. Hairstylist. Okay, so I'm setting 3 in there just to show you guys what happens. Move to blueprint. Okay, so what I've done here, guys, is I've just put the domain name in there just for my own sake because I want to keep a reference point of Power 1. Okay, let's go back here. Domain.com, that gives me a Power 1. What's in there? They got salon. Okay, have I got salon here? So what I do in Firefox or the browser I use is I type in salon because that's one of the keywords that I don't want to have going over. Firefox salon, that's what I want. And I'll go highlight all. You can see I've got it there, but I don't have them in my silos. Now, a keyword that's primary, you can mention it twice in the entire URL. So from domain, subdomain, silo category, supporting articles, you can only have that keyword mentioned 2 times. More than that, you start over-optimizing your URL structure. Okay, and then when you start having it in the title and in the H1 tag and in the content of the page, that's why your pages get penalized. Okay, can you guys give me a 1 if you're clear on that? Okay, now what we do give you guys, I created this little filter in DWS for you guys, and that is the Matt's interesting thematically related keywords. When we run this filter, we can turn the Larry up or down on a specific keyword we're drilling, and it gives us a small subset of keywords that are not long tails. They're partially or pure diverse, meaning they don't have the keyword in all the time. And these are words you can use in your titles, you can use them, and this helps to get us a bigger, diverse net. Okay, we're using thematically related keywords that are not the same in our content, that's different to our URL structure. Okay, so that gives us a wider net, and when that page gets ranked, it gets ranked for multiple variations of the actual keyword. So when we look at the shingle, okay, shingle meaning Phoenix hair salons. We could get ranked for Phoenix hair. We could get ranked for hair salons. We could get ranked for Phoenix salons. We could get ranked for salons Phoenix just by using partial or pure diverse keywords in our content when we write our copy. Okay, because it's giving us different synonymic related words in the structure of that whole page. Okay, so as the architect, you always got to keep in the back of your mind, you got to always think about, okay, I'm dealing with the URL, I'm dealing with the title, I'm dealing with the H1 tag, I'm dealing with the content. I'm dealing with the anchor text that sits on the actual page in the gutters. I'm also dealing with the footer. What's going where, and what is the word, and how is it used? Okay, so don't let all those things scare you and think it's super complicated. We're keeping our stuff simple. In our URL, we start at the URL and we build from the URL. That's why it's a silo architecture is really important. This is the design, it's a skeleton. The persuasion copy comes on top, and that is the meat and the bones and the clothes. That's what we're putting on top of it. Okay, so now what we're doing is when we map out these important words, they become the anchors of the conversations that happen within the web ring. Okay, so from the WR1, we're going to broadcast upstream. Okay, and when we broadcast from our blog upstream, we'll be doing a chats about haircuts. This is our latest haircuts we've done. This is the hair colors we use. This the trend for winter coming is going to be hazy oak or whatever the girls come up with next. And this is the best hair removal techniques we're using now. Come for once and your hair's gone for a whole year. Blah, 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 blah. When we publish those things through our blog upstream, they're going to get ranked, and that traffic's going to come back downstream to our landing pages. Now, when you build your silo sites, guys, on your WR1, keep this in mind that every single page you add, every keyword is a page. Every page you add is a campaign. That page should be tracked, should be ranked, and should convert. So don't go build sites with thousands of pages and do a shoddy job. Rather understand how the money flows in the market and target the 5 or 10 keywords that actually create transactions, and build small focus sites and then power them up with your blog and drive traffic through your blog and rank on those specific pages. Does it give you guys a clear idea of what I'm actually doing here? I just want to make sure that you guys are seeing how I'm thinking about things. It's very, very important because it's going to save you hours and hours of time. Like you see here, we've mapped out a silo site. Literally, there's a silo, there's our 3 categories. Your homework is to find and build that there. Do you know what I'm saying? So when we're going to start building our sites now, okay, we're going to build our first silo. It's going to be a single silo. We're going to have a minimum of 3 categories: haircuts, blonde hair, hairstyles, and wedding hair. We're going to write the copy for it, and then we're going to push it live and import it into our blog. Once it's pushed live and it's live on our blog, and they can find a phone number, they can fill in the contact form that gets delivered to the right person, or they can press a button that creates a PayPal transaction. That silo's job is done. Okay. Now, the way I teach the guys to build the sites is build a site, build a single silo, get the content up, get it live, make sure analytics is working, come back around. Build the next story. Single silo, content, persuasion, PayPal buttons, contact forms working, sales funnel active, analytics running, get it live. Because when you do that, what happens is that keyword will start moving up the index while you're developing your site. Okay, and the client will potentially start getting sales and contact forms. Like with the SASE site, in the case study, you can see literally a few days after we got the site live, people started filling in the contact forms and they're asking specifically for what we promoted for. If you look at the case study, you'll see it. I don't know if you guys can you give me one if you actually read through the case study that I did for SASE, just on the silo architecture, that first case study, and 2 if you haven't. Okay, I'll get you guys that link and I'll throw it in the group. Have a read through that. It's very interesting, but it's going to give you a clear indication of how powerful silo architecture is when you target the right type of keywords and what actually happens. Okay, so guys, you see how simple it is to actually move and create a silo structure in DWS? All we do is we click on the root, we select our keywords for the silos, we move them in. Then we can come back, we select categories, we press submit. When it comes back, it shows all our category keywords. There's our next segment of keywords. Okay, now we can see these, where we're going to move these ones. Haircut tree, men's haircuts. Men's haircuts belongs under haircuts, so I select haircuts. Okay. Men's haircuts. And you notice I'm always choosing the keywords at the top that have got realistic search. Don't try and target keywords that have 300 million just because the potential profit you're going to make is going to take you forever. Pay attention to the time to rank, guys. Time is money. We don't want to spend 60 months trying to rank for a keyword. We want to get the money within a few months because that means the client's making money. That means they'll keep on paying the paycheck if you're doing continuity work with them. Okay, so I'm going to jump back to Kraken quickly. I want to quickly rank this domain before I wrap this call up. And I want to just see where the missed opportunities are for this client. And I'll carry on building the site out while we live. Create. Okay, that's running away there. Okay, so we've got the men's haircuts. Best hair color, men's cuts, hair salon equipment, hair colorist. Interesting. Okay, I'll just throw those 2 in there as well. So that's a single silo with 5 articles. That took me literally 10 minutes explaining what I was doing to you guys. Okay, so you can see how quickly we added those keywords in. Do you see this? There's the circular motion. We select the parent. We filter. We tick off the keywords we want. We say move to blueprint. That's the job done. So what happens now is once you've done that, right, in the design my site section, this is where we are now. We're in step 2, design my site. When we're ready to actually go and publish our site, we go into step 3, mark for publishing. Okay, now what we're doing here is, even though we're working our project, we only want to publish the silo that we're ready to put live. So we can go write the content. So I've checked that. I click approve for publishing. Now, one thing to know when you come to step 3 is you cannot publish supporting articles if the parents, the categories are not published. They will not appear in the blueprint, okay? And you can't publish categories if the parent silo is not published. And you can see it's published by the blue and green icon over here, the little world saying it's gone live. Once that's done, right, what we're going to get next is step 4, build my WordPress site. On this step 4, we give you instructions of how to go about setting all the site up. And there's some videos showing you exactly what we're going to do. Okay. Then step 5, export my blueprint. Now, over here we've got the WR1. Download the website blueprint. I'm going to open it up in a new tab. And we've got WR2. Generate a blueprint for WR2 sites. The WR2 works with video Kraken. So if you're building video Kraken sites, you can map them out. Please be aware that with a video Kraken site, you can only do a silo and a category. Supporting articles will not appear. They will not work. The plugin is not made for supporting articles. It's purely silos and categories. Okay. So if you map them out, right-click Save, go to the WordPress plugin over here. I'll show you now. Import it in, and it'll kick off your whole WordPress Kraken WR2 website, just with that little link over there. Okay. So what I've done now is I've downloaded the blueprint. What you'll see is an XML file that looks like this. If I can find it, where is that? Here it is. For XML, I use this program. It's really great. It's called First Objects XML Editor. It's free. Okay. And that allows me to actually look at the blueprint, and I can see the page name, the ID, the parents, the keywords, and all the metadata. In DWS Pro, you can actually write your content in DWS Pro, and it'll export it all out with the actual XML. And when you import it in, it builds that whole thing for you. Your content goes in, everything goes in, bang, one shot. You just go through each little page and you edit. This is for rapid development. But on the light version that you guys have got, you can just import this in, and it'll build the silo structure for you guys. So the way we'll do that is when we go to DWS and we install our plugin, this is the Any Simple Silo Builder plugin that we're using over here. You go to your silo importer. Now, please be aware that if your structure is only, let's go back here, silos and categories, the Simple Silo Builder plugin will work for you. Okay, you can import the XML in. If using supporting articles, you need to use the advanced silo builder plugin, because there's a part of code that's not available in the simple silo builder. Okay, now the way it works is pretty easy. When you come in, all you do is you set it to draft. I typically keep the short codes turned off. I add them manually, and the way we can get that through settings. If we click on settings, it'll give us our shortcut tokens. We can copy that and we can paste them in. I prefer personally to do it myself manually, where I want the excerpts to appear. Okay. The manual silo builder is not. You're not going to use that. This is where you just add keywords and you move them manually. We're not going to do that. You can see this is a live site that's busy publishing and doing what it wants. We're going to basically go to the silo importer. We're going to set it to draft. We're going to set the shortcodes to off. And we're going to click on Advanced Silo Settings. And we're going to use everything as the primary keyword. Make sure that everything here is the primary keyword. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to click Import Silo File. I'm not going to do that now because this is a running site, but I just wanted to show you what it does. When you click that, this entire node that you've created and you've exported and is ready, haircuts and those 5 categories, that'll come on into your site. It's imported instantly. If that keyword exists, right, the plugin is smart enough to know, because each keyword has got a unique ID. If that unique ID exists, it will not overwrite it and it will not import it. First in stays, and it's purely because once you've written your content, you don't want your content overwritten. Okay, we built this for the bolt-on silo process. So if you come and do work for a client, and they've got an existing website and you want to work on their site, say that you want to come and work on their site here, you can essentially get rid of press and awards, create a banner for it over here, and you can bolt your salon into the top navigation and work on the side of the site, creating a site that's structured for the client. Okay. And you won't impact their rankings or anything that they actually have got going for them. Okay. Can you give me one if that's clear for you? Okay. So remember, guys, if you're doing work for clients, you never want to disrupt anything they've got built. You don't want to go chop and change your content, all that kind of stuff. It's easier to bolt on a silo, get those keywords ranked, and then once the keywords are ranked that you want to get ranked for, any of these old pages, you can 301 redirect them to that actual page after. Okay? Not before. Just be very careful on that. Okay, in Traffic Hospital, Jimmy goes into a lot of detail on how to actually work with the sites and all that kind of stuff. If you've not done a course, I recommend going and checking it out. It'll give you a lot of grounding into what to do and what not to do, and what are the implications of doing things wrong. Because remember, any change you make, there's about a 3-week movement that happens, and it always tanks. If you change a page, it always drops, and then it works its way back up again. Okay, so it's easier to bolt on a silo, get them ranked. When they overrank what's here already, you can 301 them if you want to. Okay. Right. What program are you talking about? The XML one, or what program are you referring to? The program I use is called First Object. Okay. It's First Object XML Editor. If you just Google that, it's free. You download it, and it's great for XML. It just shows you everything very nicely. Alternatively, you can just use Firefox and open up the file in Firefox, and it will format the XML, and you can see it as well. Okay, so just to go over the process of what we've done, we created an empire. We set up our business rules. We imported our keywords. We quickly mapped out the site based on what keywords were important. The keyword decision screen showed us where the money flows through these keywords. Okay. We select our keywords, we mapped out our blueprints, and then we went to mark for publishing. We published what we wanted to go live, and then from there we exported it and imported it into WordPress, and that was the site built. That's your whole silo structure done. It's super easy, guys. It's not complicated. The complicated part comes in where you have to choose the right keywords that you want to get ranked for. Okay. Can you give me a 1 if you're clear on that? On that process. All you got to do is just follow the dots up top here. Next week, just because we're running out of time, next week what I'm going to do with you guys is I'm going to take you through the pro version of DWS quickly just to show you some advanced reporting that you can use that maps some other things out. But this is all I want you guys to think about now and fiddle with now. I don't want to go into too much other stuff on the pro version that's going to sidetrack you from the core construction area. Okay. That's all I wanted to show you guys today on DWS. But before I leave, I just want to jump back and look at what our clients rank for. Okay. So Phoenix Hair Salons, they're in position number 5. Missed opportunity. They got $337 of $5,000 yearly organic rank value. Phoenix Salon, they're in position number 16. $200 of 36,000. Phoenix Hair Salon, 16. 25K, 136. If you're going to do SEO for these guys, what are going to be the keywords you're going to work on first? This missed opportunity report that comes in from Kraken basically shows us where they're at and how much money they're leaving on the table. Now, when you're speaking to your clients and you're selling to them and you're talking to them, these are the things you need to have in your back pocket that if they're being difficult, you can pull it out and you can show them and say, look, this is where you're missing out on things. But don't give them this information unless they've paid you to give it to them, okay? But if I'm working this site, this is where I would come in and I'll decide, okay, does this keyword belong in the architecture, i.e. the site structure, or is it a contextual keyword? If it's got very low competing pages, you can stick it in the copy and it'll work. And I'll show you an example of why. On the Sassy Hair Salon site, let's just check it quick. I don't want that. And I'm just going to open up AWS Cloud so we can look at some rankings there. On the SASE site, under here, we got hair extensions mentioned somewhere. Styling treatments. Where professionals, not that. Basically, I've got hair extensions mentioned on the site once. And I'm going to show you, just because it's part of the story, because it's thematically related, when we go to our rankings and we look at our keyword groups, what I do is when I build my site, I track my rankings by silo. And you can see here, I've got makeup, my branded keywords, wedding and hair. There's the keywords that I have. But I put in hair extensions, go through my market analysis, I noticed there's a lot of money that flows through extensions. And there's much, much more search volume. So when I look at hair extensions and I look at over the last year, we can actually have a look at how we've been moving. Okay. So we came into the index at 40, but we're not really focused on hair extensions. But it's been interesting to see as we moved on over the year how we've dropped back out of the rankings. Okay. So we've got a visibility of 107. Okay. Now when I click into hair extensions and I look at the actual 3 keywords, hair extensions with a locale, check here, hair extensions Port Elizabeth, hair extensions Warmer. We're in position number 3 for this low hanging fruit on page 1. We're in position number 13. But it's a keyword I just mentioned once in a silo architecture. But look at where it's moved through the index. Hair extensions on a national level, we're not ranked for it. It's got high competition. Hair extensions Port Elizabeth, it's got medium competition. There's 70 searches a month. We're just off the front page. With a little bit of a push, we can take these keywords. Okay. So can you guys see how using a structure, silo architecture structure that focuses on the important keywords that people use. When we design a site, we build up a site around that. All these other keywords, because they're thematically related, we come into the index and we stick around. This has been hanging around you for a year. Look at there, position 10, how it's fluctuated, it's staying there, and now we're sitting at position number 3. I've not done anything. I've mentioned that phrase once in the entire site. Does that give you an idea of what happens with silo architecture, guys? I want you guys to see the end result of what happens when we use keywords in the actual structure. Now with SASE, they're getting queries every single week. I've not had to do too much work on it. But if I look at the entire movement over the last 2 years, you can see that the sites come up and it's just hung around there. Now, in comparison to the hair extensions where we just mentioned 2 keywords, when we look at this, we're looking at all our keywords, where they're ranked collectively across the entire data set. Okay, so there's like 140 keywords I'm tracking here that are important, that I'm watching. But we can see how things are moving up and down and how consistently they sit, regardless of any changes. This movement here, on the branded keywords, was when I added it into Freebase, into the semantic web. Okay, this dip here, where everything dipped, was where my slider got hacked, and it was down for like a day or so. That's the impact. You can see I dropped and I've come back again, and I stayed the same. Now, when I turn Social Explosion on and I do some dash stacks on the most important keywords that I find in the market where the money flows, we're going to look at that next in the next case study. Okay, but this shows you how consistent and how solid silo architecture works with very, very little effort. Okay, and we built out the site literally in a few hours for SASE. Okay, so does that, guys, do you see how quick and easy we mapped out a silo architecture, published it, got our XML, imported it into WordPress, and had a whole site built out for us? I've got a video that shows how I do it in 10 minutes. I built a whole site. That's including setting up, the most of the work was setting up WordPress. Okay, so I hope that this helps you. Do you guys have any questions at this point in time? Because this is the technical architecture, and I wanted to take you guys through this process to show you the technical architecture, to show you in Kraken, when we've got an existing domain, how we can find where the money flows, okay? Wella hair color, salon chairs, beauty furniture, men haircut styles. That keyword has got $61,000 tied to it over a year. Okay, this company is nowhere near it. That's a missed opportunity for people looking for hair salons, Phoenix. Can you see how important that keyword is to this market? That's a brand. That's another locale. Phoenix hair salon, owning that keyword, 36K. Okay, so guys, do you have any questions at this point in time that I can help you with while we're here looking at this specific page where we build our silo architecture? There's many more pages in Network Empire Builder, but I wanted to only give you guys this screen because this is where we're going to work first. Yes, in the members area, Larry, there's a tutorial. Let me just go there quickly. Network Empire. When you go to the Network Empire to the members area, we have up to 17 videos taking you all the way through DWS Pro. And it's called DWS4 Training. If I click on that link there. As we go through this whole video series, I go through screen by screen and I show you all the steps. We go through each screen all the way from the beginning right through to the end. Okay, there's 17 videos. All prepped and ready for you guys that you can check out. Okay,
all right.
So questions, anything?
All right, you guys, if there's any questions from Matt that you want to grab him now, are there any questions about the processes that we've taken you through today? The first time is always the toughest, and then it starts to get easier and easier as you begin to see how things connect. Okay, doesn't look like we have any questions. So if you have any questions that come after the fact with something like this, go to the Skype room. This is going to be the Tech Foundation 1, Level 1 Skype room, and we'll cover you there. And I can kind of get the feeling, generally at this module is when people are really starting to play around with stuff. I can already hear some of you moving stuff around in the software. So that's good. That's what you should be doing. And with that, Matt, do you have anything you want to talk about in closing, or are you good?
I'm good. The last thing I'm going to say is your drills are almost finished, guys. We're just doing off the last few ones. We're going to get them across to you. The data sets are quite nice.
Yes.
I'm pretty happy with them. And once you get those keywords, then you can just jump into your Kraken, save the files you want, import them in, and build out as you're going. What I want to say is when you're building out your sites, guys, when you're at this stage, you're the architect. You got to think about all the moving parts. Okay, that's maybe the hard part in the beginning, but use the domain powering mechanism that I showed you guys today, where the power sits, and put your important keywords in the power zones. Okay, the less important keywords, the ones that are informational, the ones that don't have much meaning to your business, i.e. the conversions aren't that great, and they're more informational based keywords. You can see this by, this is the last one I want to show you, the dollar bills. Here's an example here. Love my hair. 951,000 pages on the internet for love my hair, but there's no money being sent. That's why it's a page with little glasses. It's information. It's probably a social keyword. People talking about, oh, my hair is great, blah, blah, blah. Best hair salon, when you see the dollar bill and coins, if you hover over it, it's got medium buyer's intent. Okay, this is very important. When you just got dollar bills, there's a lot of money being spent on that keyword. So when I look at the keyword, if I'm looking at haircuts for men, first thing I see is dollar bills. Second thing I see is under a million phrase match. I see that there's 39,000 searches a month. There's potentially 4,000 conversions on a national level. Time to rank 8 months for that. So if I'm doing local, it's going to be a fraction of that. 61 backlinks, local fraction, I need a minimum site build of 16 pages if I'm going for haircuts for men. So if you've got 5 silos with 5 articles in each, you already got 25 pages. That's more than enough to enter and go for that keyword. Okay, so I start from the left and I look, is there money being made? What's the term? How competitive is it? How much money can I potentially make? And I move from left to right. And if it's not going to make you money, you'll see it'll fail. Okay, we'll get the little X's. And when you hover over the X, you can see they exceed your development cost by 739. So love my hair costs you more money and there's no conversions in that actual thing to make you money back. Okay, so that's all I need to say on this right now. There was one question from Neil. Yes, Neil, there's still 2 keywords, still 2 instances of a phrase within a keyword. It's not just your main keyword, it's any keyword. Like for example, if you did men's haircut, you wouldn't go put men's spiky haircut. You'll just have spiky sitting just afterwards. Or men's haircuts, and you could have gel. Hairspray. You can have the single phrases afterwards. Just go single. Rather keep it single. It keeps the URL shorter, number one. Number two, it just lessens the penalty because you're going to mention those words, the men's haircuts and stuff, probably on the page in the copy as well. Okay. I've got another module I've been working on for you guys. It's a screen that basically maps out the URL structure, and we can go in and edit the keywords. And what DW should do is going to keep the keyword we're targeting, like blonde hair. But for example, we might want to change the slug in WordPress to be haircuts / blonde. And we want to drop hair because there's haircuts, hair that mentions to us. Then we'll just chop the hair off, we'll save it. And when we export out the XML, it's going to put blonde into the slug, not blonde hair. Okay, so that's coming. I'm busy working on it. I'm just ironing out a few more bugs, and then that's another little update that's going to help you bulk edit your entire blueprint very quickly, so that when it goes into WordPress, all the URLs are right, all the slugs are right, and you still got a reference point in DWS of what's the keywords that you're targeting. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's about it, Russ.
Okay,
guys,
we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Did it help you? Is that clear? Do you guys understand how to actually map out the stuff? Because that was the hardest part in DWS, was actually moving the keywords into the actual silo framework.
Looks like we got lots of ones. Penny's starting to drop for sure. Mike Clay says awesome, because we've been editing URLs manually. Marvin is saying we'll be able to correct the slugs that we are building now.
Yeah, when it comes out, you can do it in DWS. Otherwise, in WordPress, if you want to edit a slug, you need to go to, where's that site? You basically need to go to your pages. Let's go all pages. One thing you got to do is if you make edits in WordPress, this is important. Whatever you change at the page level, you got to change at the category. So for example, if I come here and I do a quick edit on this slug over here, home 2, let's just say I made it home 2.3 and I saved it, I've got to find the same page in the category section, and then I've got to edit there as well. That's why it's going to be easier just to do it in DWS, import it in, and then it gets built right from the start, and you don't have to futz around in WordPress, messing around with that. Okay, so remember, if you change in WordPress, any slug you change in WordPress, let's just get another one here. Like for example, this slug's video, solid ball, we'll have to find that same one in the category section, and they must be identical. If they're not identical, that page will disappear until you make it identical again. Okay.
Excellent.
So that's it.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for today, you guys. We have ongoing support, ongoing work. Matt and I have to do a couple things on your drills that are happening, so we're going to get off and serve you on that front. Really look forward to seeing you guys on the next webinar next week. It's going to be week 6, and we're going to move on through the process. Some of you I recognize are already in certification level 2 from yesterday's kickoff. I will see all of you on Wednesday as well. So everybody on this class, we look forward to seeing you, and go have some fun. Play with this stuff. This is crazy power. Enjoy. We look forward to seeing you in the next webinar. Thanks, y'all. Ciao.
Thanks, everyone. See you later.